I'm here for I Have Opinions. New segment. I said I'll be discussing shows. Like I said, a couple of the shows are off already, but I want to talk about them really quick and then probably get into Power Book 2. Because the first episode aired on Sunday. I know I'm a little off, but this week has been ridiculous with Labor Day and everything. But let's get into it. First one I want to talk about because it went off. It went on season finale last week, but Marriage Bootcamp this season. All right, so I like Marriage Bootcamp. Marriage Bootcamp is a good show, with celebrities trying to work through their relationships, and they have Dr. Ish and Judge Tola who are helping them. So this season we had Willie and Shonda, Willie of Day 26 and his wife Shonda. We had Hazel E and her fiance Davon. We had Phaedra and her boy thing, Medina. It was rapper Corrupt and his girlfriend Tony. And then it was also, I'm missing a person. Oh, it was Tahiri from Love and Hip Hop and Vado, rapper from New York. Now, overall, this whole season was irritating. Like, when they first got in, for whatever reason, Hazel and Shonda had beef or whatever, but it had something to do with, like, a colorist comment that Hazel had made on Twitter or Instagram or something like that, which is not very far-fetched because Hazel E is always saying something that's very, very ignorant, or it is. I've seen her say a couple of colorist things or whatever, and Hazel was even on the Yanla Fix My Life for that or whatever, because pretty much that's how she grew up. She grew up thinking that, light skin is the right skin or whatever. So her and Shonda squashed their beef, but Hazel was irritating the whole season because her whole thing was, well, is Davon with me for clout? Is Davon with me for clout? Girls want to argue with me for clout. Like, her whole talk was about clout. And I'm like, Hazel, what clout do you have? What clout do you have? You were a publicist. Then you got on Love and Hip Hop and you were trying to be a rapper and don't know what happened with that or whatever. I guess now you have some kind of businesses or whatever. I don't know. I'll see Hazel pop up on like the Shade Room and stuff like that every so often, but I really don't know what Hazel does besides being a reality TV personality. Like, honestly. And I know she just recently had a baby, congratulations to her, whatever, but on the show she had a miscarriage or whatever. But it's just the whole entire time, like, she was just talking. And I don't have a problem with a person bigging themselves up, for their success. Like, what I'm saying is not taking away from her success or whatever, but she just needs to humble herself a little bit. And it's like irritating because every episode it was clout. And then she was always jumping to conclusions with Davon, like, oh, am I his sugar mama? Like, pretty much saying stuff to make him feel less of a man. And he's like, okay, so what? I'm young, but I don't have a young mindset. I love you. You're my girl, blah, blah, blah. And I felt bad. I'm like, you running him off and you making this boy feel like she was just doing too much. Hazel was irritating this season. Who else irritated me? Friggin' Tahiri. Now, okay, excuse me, phone. Tahiri pissed me off 100% this season because she kept doing and saying, like, she kept antagonizing Vado. Now, in no way, shape, or form do I condone a man putting his hands on a woman. But I also don't condone a woman putting her hands on a man. I am a person who is very big on personal space, and I feel like nobody should violate anybody's personal space, whether you a man or a woman, boy or girl. I don't care who you are, and I teach my children that. Don't let nobody violate your personal space. All of us have a bubble, and if you didn't invite anybody into your bubble, they should not be in your bubble. And I feel like Tahiri just kept picking at Vado. Like, I feel like Vado really wanted to use Marriage Bootcamp as a way to better himself. And the fact that I kind of feel like he got robbed of that because of Tahiri and her antics, that was corny to me. And I was every episode I was watching Tahiri say stuff about Vado, like, well, he talks to everybody else, but he don't talk to me. And then it was the episode that when everything went left was when they had to wear the shock arm wrist, the arm watches, the shock watches. They had to wear those, and every time one of them violated like a rule or whatever that they set for each other, they would have to shock each other. So Vado was following the rules. Every time Tahiri did something on the list, he shocked her. She felt like he was shocking her for spite. And he's like, no, I'm not shocking you for spite. I'm shocking you because you're not following the rules, and I am. So when they got into group meeting, Tahiri was like, no, before that, they were in the kitchen and they were arguing. Tahiri, this is where it pissed me off. Tahiri picked up 2 apples, threw them at Vado. Now, your temple is here in this area. Now, if she would have hit him in his temple, if she would have hit him in the wrong area of his head, she could have knocked him unconscious because she threw them apples type hard. He didn't do nothing. Vado sat there and ate those, but he was just like, like ow or whatever. He sat there and he ate those. Now they get into group meeting. Tahiri says, well, I apologize for my behavior because Vado, pretty much she was just saying Vado took me there, and because he took me there, I had to act out in front of y'all. So she hit him with apples. Then she blamed him for the reason why she was acting the way. She didn't give him an apology, nothing, for hitting him with apples. So, and like I said, again, I do not condone physical violence amongst anybody. But Vado got up in a rage and he yoked Tahiri up by her neck. So I was like, okay, whoa, Vado, you took it a little too far. But at the same time, I understood why he got pissed off like he did, because she didn't even apologize for her antics from earlier. So what they did in boot camp was that they put him out the house. He had to stay in the hotel. He could participate in certain drills, and then they would check on Tahiri. Okay, cool. Make her feel safe. Keep a distance between them, a limit. Okay. So then when Dr. Ish went to go talk to Vado, Vado was like, I didn't mean to do that to her, whatever. That wasn't like me, but it's just that I was angry and blah, 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 which is understandable. But again, I don't condone what he did, because what he did was 100% wrong. I'm not saying he was not wrong at all for putting his hands on her, but I just feel like the same standard that they had for Vado, how they were treating him with the same procedure, they should have did the same thing with Tahiri, because Tahiri threw apples at him. So why is it that he get penalized for like yoking her up, but she doesn't get penalized for throwing something at him? Because that's physical. And then she didn't even apologize for it. So I just saw like a little bit of hypocrisy. And then like at the end, at the ring ceremony, Tahiri did this long speech about how, she's going to love herself and all of that. Okay, that's great. But they didn't even allow Vado to say anything to her. And they pretty much treated Vado like he was a daggone criminal. And I'm like, that's bugged. And then, like, as this season is going on, I think Tahiri said something about Joe Budden being physically abusive to her when they were together. And I think Joe Budden rebutted that and was like, no, you were actually the one that was physically abusive to me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not surprised by any of this, like, because I've seen Tahiri on Love and Hip Hop, and I used to love Tahiri, but seeing her on Marriage Bootcamp really turned me off from her. Like, she was just ridiculous this season, and I don't understand. Like, okay, great, self-love and all of that, I'm all for that, but I just don't like the fact that Tahiri got coddled when she was physically abusive to Vado, and then Vado got treated like crap. He made a mistake, owned up to it, apologized for it and everything, said it would never happen again. Like, I really, truly, and honestly felt like Vado understood what he did wrong. But it's like they just kept continuously kicking him and praising Tahiri, but y'all wasn't like, and Vado was actually there to learn something. Tahiri was too, but I just feel like how they handled the situation, I didn't really care for it. I didn't like it. I feel like they sat up here and they coddled Tahiri and pretty much made her, made it seem like what she did to him was okay. But what he did was not okay. And I don't care. Like, this is why men don't come forward and say that women are, because women can be abusers too. It may not be physical all the time. Women could be verbally abusive. There's a lot of women around here who are very nasty to their men, who emasculate their men or whatever, and the men just constantly put up with it. So women can be abusers too. And I just didn't think it was fair how Vado was treated or whatever. But you know what? The only thing I can hope is that Vado left the boot camp with a better sense of self, and now he knows what women to go after and what women to avoid. And like, I'm just disgusted with Tahiri, honestly. The main people that I really feel took a lot out of boot camp, I feel like Shonda and Willie really took a lot. Like, they learned something from boot camp, because they were the one with the craziest infidelity issues. And this is not the first time that their marriage has come up on TV. When they were on the last season of Love and Hip Hop that they were on, infidelity came up a bunch of times. And it was said that, you know, he cheated numerous times. So, like, finally, Shonda cheated back, which is like the norm when you're getting cheated on by your significant other. You know, it was the same thing with A1 and Lyrica. You know, oh, you cheated first, I'm gonna cheat back, so you can see how it feels. It's like a tit for tat thing in these relationships. And it's like 9 times out of 10, men can never dish out what they take. No, men can never take what they dish out. My bad. So, you know, but I feel like Willie and Shonda really learned a lot about each other. You know, Shonda learned that she married someone that's like her father. Willie learned that, you know, as a man, you do wrong, you own up to it. And he also learned that he, you know, you gotta, because I know Dr. Ish and Judge Tola told him, you gotta honor your wife or whatever, because some man is gonna treat your daughter the same way you treat your wife. And, you know, that's not a good thing. So I honestly feel like Willie and Shonda will make it. Fingers crossed. I'm rooting for them because they're a beautiful couple. So I hope they make it. Corrupt and Tony was a lost cause since they walked in the door, because Corrupt was clearly an alcoholic, and the fact that he couldn't get his way, and the fact that they were trying to, like, you know, get him out of the habit of drinking so heavily, he couldn't handle it. So once they took the liquor out the house, he started throwing a tantrum, trying to make it seem like Tony was crazy or whatever. And at that point, Tony was fed up. But Tony wasn't paying him no mind. Tony was just like, you know what? I'm over this. I'm not going to keep, you know, running after you. If you don't want to take care of yourself, I can't do it, blah, 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 blah. So they eventually, you know, sent Tony home and told her, go be with your children. Go focus on yourself. And then Dr. Ish tried to get Corrupt to do rehab again. Corrupt refused, so he had to leave the house. So, you know, I just feel like Corrupt needs more than what Tony can give him, because from what it seems like, from, like I said, from when they walked in the door, Tony looked exhausted. Like, she wasn't smiling, she wasn't happy, she looked mad all the time. And trying to deal with somebody who has an illness like that or whatever, it's very draining. So I felt really bad for her, but I'm glad in the end she what is this? Fuck. I'm so ready for summer to be over. The bugs are irritating. Oh my god. I just had to say that real quick. But yeah, with Tony, like, you could see she was just always upset, always angry or whatever. So for them to let her go home and be with her children, I hope she's doing a lot better. And Corrupt is a grown man. He gotta want the help. You can't save people who don't want to save themselves, honestly. So all right, I spoke about Hazel and Davon, Tahiri and Vada, Willie and Shonda. Tony and Corrupt. Phaedra and Medina are the last ones. Now, Phaedra and Medina, I don't know. I love Phaedra. Love her to death. But I don't really feel like she was feeling Medina like she claimed she was. Like, I feel like she just got on the show just to get on the show. And it seemed like Medina, plus, from what I was hearing, they were only together for like maybe 4 or 6 months before they joined Marriage Bootcamp or something like that. So it was still a fresh, you know, relationship. You know, eventually they ended up leaving the house just being friends. But I feel like Medina was feeling her, and, you know, he really wanted to prove himself to her. And, you know, Phaedra was just like, no. But I understood why, because we've all seen Phaedra's marriage. Her marriage was a disaster on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I could understand her having her guard up, but it wasn't really any chemistry with her and Medina. Like, but and Medina seems to be a good guy, but it just him and Phaedra, they seem like they had more of a friendship than they did a relationship. But I did like, I feel like Phaedra still was holding back a lot, even though, like, in certain drills, you had to release some of your demons and stuff. I do feel like Phaedra was holding back a lot, and she's still, like, she's still programmed to have this perfect persona. And we all know that's not the truth. I mean, all in all, this was a really good season of Marriage Bootcamp. Hazel and Tahiri were annoying as hell. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all can let me know how y'all feel about, the season that just went on for Marriage Bootcamp. Now, P Valley. I mean, I'm not gonna spend so much time talking about P Valley or whatever because the season just went off. But all in all, first of all, I'm glad it's renewed for a second season, and it's a good show. I just feel like, okay, so P Valley is pretty much about, a strip club or whatever. Girls, like, the girls that work at the strip club, their struggles, certain ones, their struggles. The storyline is, Uncle Clifford, who is Grand Diva of the P Valley. That's the owner of of the Pink, the strip club, and right now, he's facing going on like the auction block from, like, realtors or whatever, because he owes, I think, $55,000 to keep the property. So, of course, there's people who's trying to take the Pink from him. They want to build a casino. One of those people being the mayor, but the mayor's godson is like, going to the Pink just to, see what's going on or whatever, and he inadvertently falls for Autumn, who is like one of the dancers there. And Autumn, I think Autumn is supposed to be like the main character or whatever. Honestly, I don't like her as the main character. I don't feel like she's like, I feel like she's very, I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel like Autumn's storyline is just it's very mysterious, but it's also boring a little bit. Just a little bit. Like, I was more interested in learning about Uncle Clifford, Keyshawn, even Gidget. Mercedes, definitely, because Mercedes has a good story. Hers is her daughter, she has like a gym. She's trying to get a gym. She was saving up money in her mother's church or whatever, but she was saving up money to start her own little majorette gym or whatever. And she had like this took place in Chucalissa, Mississippi. So, she's saving up money for a gym for her majorettes or whatever. And, her stripping is her hustle. And she's pretty much, the bottom bitch of the Pink or whatever. So she's the one that's the money maker or whatever. And she's trying to retire from stripping so that she could full on open her gym and have, her business, which is nothing to be mad at. But the fact that on her last night where she was supposed to dance and her mama took her money, I felt so bad for her. But other than that, Mercedes was just like, she's a bad chick. Like, she got these goals and ambitions and stuff, and she's a hustler. And then the fact that her mother took her money and her mother ended up brawling, and she pretty much told her mother, you dead to me because you took my money, which I don't feel bad, but yeah. So that happens or whatever. And like, I just feel like Mercedes, like, the background, like, her story was it was more interesting than Autumn's was. Like, Autumn's was very mysterious. How she showed up on the show. It was something with a flood, and then pretty much she had to assume these identities, and she had all this money that she was putting in like these accounts and stuff. So eventually it comes out that her husband was looking for her, whatever, and he reported her missing. So because she was reported missing, somebody knew that she worked at the Pink and like tipped him off and told him where she worked. He found her, tried to kill her if she didn't give the money back. She gave the money back, but him, Mercedes, and her get into a tussle, and I guess he had to be the one that died because clearly Mercedes and Autumn made it out alive, because in the end, Autumn ended up getting the pink back for Uncle Clifford. So, yeah. But I just feel like everybody else's background was just way more interesting than Autumn's. And the show as a whole was a good show. It was interesting or whatever. I just can't wait to see what they're gonna do for season 2. Like, I'm upset at Keyshawn, but I feel like there's a method to her madness as to why she told Diamond to get off of her baby daddy, boyfriend, husband, whatever he is to her. I feel like there's a method to her madness. I hope there is, because he was abusive to her the whole season. And Diamond was there for her. Diamond was, saving her life and all of that. So I'm hoping that there's a method to this. Because if not, Keyshawn, girl, what you doing? You could have shot your baby daddy and been with Diamond and happily ever after. But like I said, I hope there's a method to her madness. Now, Lil Murder. I like Lil Murder. I don't like the fact that he was treating Uncle Clifford like a side piece, no biscuit. So, but yeah, I just feel like Lil Murder needs to live in his truth, and I don't know if he should take the deal with the record label that was trying to sign him, but then they started talking to Keyshawn. So I don't know, like, he might have to give more intel, like, with the record deal and what they offer or whatever. But I like Lil Murder. I feel like he's trying to get his hustle on. He just needs to live in his truth. Live in your truth. It is what it is. Live in your truth. Don't sit up here and try and be closeted, because there's people who are closeted, and then there's people who are living in their truth, and then there's always going to be a clash. Come out when you're ready, but live in your truth, dude. Because, like, how he was trying to do Uncle Clifford the last episode, Clifford was like, you ain't going to treat me like I'm some closet freak. We either going to mess around and be together, or we're not. Which I'm not really mad at. But overall, the first season was really, really good. I can't wait to see what the second season has in store. I'm excited for it. It was a good season finale. I want to know more now that Autumn's husband is dead. I would like to see how Autumn is going to step up as part owner of the Pink. And I would also like to see more of Mercedes' background, more of Keyshawn's background, more of Gidget's background. Like, there's so many other stories that we could touch on in season 2 that are, like, super duper interesting. So I can't wait to see how P Valley's going to come back next season. It was very interesting. Now, Power Book 2 Ghost series premiere came on Sunday, and it was pretty good. It was good. It's continuing where it left off last, with Tasha being in jail for ghost murder, and they're pretty much trying to find out who was the person that actually shot him, because she's taking the fall for somebody who shot him, and they know that it wasn't her, but they do know that she was at the scene of the crime. So they're trying to find out who else was there. At first, they were trying to pin Andre as a shooter, but they said that they didn't find any gun, like any residue of like a gun going off on his clothes. And then when Tasha got to court, she said that it was Tommy, but they still sent her to jail. They still sent her to prison. I forgot for what, but she's still in jail for the crime or whatever. So now Tariq is trying to scrounge around and hurry up and take all of these classes so that he can graduate early, get his inheritance, and help his grandmother. Tariq pretty much has to take on the position of being the man of the house now, because Ghost is gone. Ghost is dead. Tommy is gone. What's his name? Kanan is gone. All of these people who were like important male figures in his life are gone. So now he's trying to hurry up and, do his classes, graduate early. But, they're giving him flack because he didn't read the assignment he was supposed to. And he's trying to like figure it out, trying to while still hustling on the side and whatnot. So he was asked to tutor this basketball student who's related to he was asked to tutor this basketball student who's related to some I don't know if she was a kingpin or like he was a kingpin and she was his queen, but Mary J. Blige's character is pretty much that of, I would say, a queen pin. Like, I guess her husband, boyfriend, whatever he is, I'm assuming husband because they all got the same last name, he's in jail. And they're a family that just pretty much shoots first and asks questions later because they had some party and Tariq went, and when he went or whatever, Bobby Brown, Woody McClain, he's the son. He plays Mary J. Blige's son. And somebody had some beef with him at the party, and then he went to go get a gun and almost shot the dude at the party. And Mary J. Blige was like, "No, go." So she spoke to the cop that came, and she was like, "No, everything's fine, blah blah blah." But I think the next day he went, and I think he killed the dude in the staircase. He did. He killed the dude in the staircase. So, and she took him there because when he came back to the car, she wiped his face down. I was like, oh, Mary is that kind of mama, Mary, she that kind of mama, so I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna like Mary J. Blige's character in this, in this power or whatever. So pretty much they're just trying to find out who else could have shot Ghost or whatever, and Tamika was trying to figure it out, and she even asked Tasha if it was Tariq. Tasha refuses to answer because she doesn't want Tariq to go to jail. But, she's innocent and she knows that she's innocent. So it's a whole mess this season. But, like I said, Tariq is still trying to sell drugs, have his own little side hustle, trying to help his mother get out of jail and all this other stuff. Like, it's a lot. And I feel like this season is going to be really good because I think it's going to uncover a lot. Like, and it's crazy to me how, see, Ghost was very calculated and very smart in how he did things, because even at the end of Power, he still had some kind of control over the family, even in his death. Because in his death, Tariq can't get his inheritance until he finishes college. That's why Tariq is fighting so hard to graduate early so that he could get his inheritance. And I don't think Tasha's not getting anything because I think she changed her name back to Green or whatever, and she's no longer in his will. I don't remember, but I do know like everything that he did in his will was very thorough and very calculated or whatever, and his movements and everything. And even when they had brought up like the people that Ghost killed, and Tasha saw the picture of Keisha, they pinned that on Ghost, but she knows that she was the one that killed Keisha. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I feel like this is going to be a good season. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to talk about it weekly. I mean, I probably would be able to talk about it weekly because I usually watch it when it airs Sunday morning. I don't wait until 9 o'clock Sunday night. I usually watch it Sunday morning. So we'll see. If need be, then I'll talk about it next Sunday. I'll watch the episode and talk about it or whatever. We'll see. We shall see. But those are like really all I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to make it like too long of a video blog. I just wanted to give my opinions on the show or whatever and talk about what stood out the most. I don't really care to review it. Like I said, I don't really care to do reviews, but I will have opinions on it. That's why I call it I have opinions. Because it's not fun for me to watch the show when I have to review scene by scene what happened. I just like to talk about what was my favorite part, what was a part that I didn't really like so much in the show, and then just talk about key points about it. I don't really like to say, well, in the next scene they said. It's not as fun to me as it is to just like talk about it. So that's what I'll do. And that was I Have Opinions with Teesha on the tube. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend, Tell a friend about Teesha on the tube. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Have a blessed day. Later.